Good morning. My name is Terrence Dingle. I'm doing my video presentation for the Methods of Research in Social Work 1. My professor is Dr. Julie Orm. Class is SWK 555. And excuse me, my presentation is the impact of community-based intervention programs on reducing recidivism rates among juvenile offenders. The impact of this community-based intervention program on reducing recidivism rates among juvenile offenders. Let's analyze brief strategies for rehabilitation and public safety. Introduction to my topic. Juvenile recidivism, a critical issue with high rates of re-offending among youth. Community-based interventions, programs designed to rehabilitate rather than punish. Purpose of this presentation is to impact analysis. How effective are these programs in reducing recidivism? Social work implications, understanding the role of the social worker in these interventions. The definition of juvenile recidivism. Recidivism refers to the tendency of previously convicted juvenile offenders to reoffend. The statistics, according to the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency, JDD, prevention, around 55% of juveniles are rearrested within 1 year of release. The types of community-based interventions, examples include mentorship programs, educational, vocational training, family therapy, and restorative justices initiatives. Policy, like juvenile justice and delinquent preventions, act as a framework supporting intervention programs. We need programs that rehabilitate and help them as opposed to just keeping them caged like animals. Children and young people, everything that you learn, you're like a blank slate. You keep storing stuff in them and they start retaining it like a computer program. That's why you need to get to them early in life, because as with children, it's easier to teach a child a foreign language while they're young as opposed to trying to learn it as an adult, because during the years, your formative years is from the day you were born to like 8, 9 years old. So those are the times that you need to impart good stuff in them. And if it happens to get past them, or they start to learn after that, there are some things that go on, and it just makes the job just a tad harder. Not saying impossible, but just a tad harder to deal with. The key research findings: studies show that community-based interventions significantly reduce recidivism rates compared to incarceration. As I was saying, incarceration, you're just keeping them caged up like animals, and you treat them as such. Don't be upset if they act accordingly. Case studies: Big Brother, Big Sister reports a 45% reduction in first-time drug offenses among participants. Youth Advocate programs show a 26% decrease in reoffending. With Big Brother and Big Sister, you have a mentor, somebody that's been there, done that, has the t-shirt, wore it out, does not want another one. Or maybe one that's never did that, and you see the difference in their life compared to one that did it. For instance, my sister, she toyed with every drug imaginable. She was going through a certain pain in her life, but she did try any and every drug to alleviate her pain, whereas I didn't. So in seeing that my sister did the stuff and whatever happened to her, it made me not want to do that or put somebody in a position where they have to suffer as she did. So I may not have done it, but I've seen the results of something bad or terrible happen to somebody. So that gives me a way to say, look, I don't know this personally per se. However, I see this, I've witnessed this. In the research gap, there's a need for more longitudinal studies to understand the long-term impacts of these programs and identify which components are most effective. Like I said, big brother, big sister, um, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Eagle Scouts, mentorship, teachers, your parents, even. Those are just great tools to have available in your toolbox. The theory behind it is social learning theory suggests that behavior is learned through interaction with others. Restorative justice principles focus on repairing harm and restoring relationships. Applications, community based programs use these theories to design interventions to promote positive social interaction and accountability. I was saying interaction through others, like the saying, the adage, birds of a feather flock together, or as my mother used to always tell me, and I'm pretty sure other adults have said, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. Um, you may not be a bad apple initially, but if you run with that crowd, eventually your thinking will start to turn that way, slowly but surely. Um, so it just depends on the people you're around, your environment, the just if you put yourself in a good place, chances are, for the most part, good things will happen. And as I was saying before, not incarceration for juveniles, but like programs that'll teach them better. Uh, Unfortunately, there were some that have to go to the system because of whatever crime. It may be a heinous one, but for the most part, let's try to get a hold of them before they even get to that part. The evaluation methods include randomizing, controlled trial, longitudinal studies, and qualitative interviews. Outcome measures, key metrics include rearrest rates, educational attainment, employment, and psychological well being. Challenges include small sample sizes, varying programs implementation, difficulty, and long term tracking. I'm sorry. Um, don't punish the child like now that'll hurt them for the rest of their lives. Like there's certain things now, like between adults, let's say you go to jail and you come out, you strip them of everything. Now they're starting to try to come around to, like, if you served your time, now you're eligible to vote again. Now you're eligible, things like that. Don't just stick somebody in a hole that they can't, no way, shape, form, or fashion come out of, because people do recover. The impact of cultural diversity and oppression. Cultural sensitivity. Programs must be culturally competent and sensitive to the background of participants. If you grew up in the ghetto, no disrespect, but if you grew up in the ghetto, you it's hard to see from somebody's viewpoint that never grew up in the ghetto, that never suffered as you did, who never lived amongst filth or trash or drug dealers, pimps, things of that sort, whatever that environment is. It's hard for somebody that's never ever lived that life to try to understand that life that you live. And it's sensitive to your background participation. For instance, like I made a point once before that um, on a test, or some of these tests are standardized, because I for a fact remember being in class and there was a picture of a sofa, and in the community I lived in, everybody called it a couch. So when you looked at the answer, the couch wasn't there. So a lot of the African American people that I went to school with got that answer wrong. I remember getting it right because I went to a better school, and I actually got to know what a sofa was, or else I'd have sat there and didn't know what it was either. So you have to be cognizant of the background of the participants that you're dealing with. Address the unique needs of diverse populations, including, like I said, race, gender, socioeconomic status is crucial. Oppression and barriers, systematic oppressions, and social inequalities can affect programs' effectiveness. Strategies to overcome these barriers include advocacy, the tailored interventions. By that I mean, like say in New York City, the Bronx, Brooklyn, they're going to have programs that deal with the people from there. Um, Unfortunately, people live in better neighborhoods like say Scarsdale, New York, where the upper echelon of everybody there are millionaires. They're going to have different things. They're going to have more things in place because they can afford it. So that's what I mean by the systematic oppression and social inequalities. The implication for social workers, roles of social workers. The social worker is crucial in developing, implementing, and evaluating intervention programs. They also provide direct support to participants, and we're there on the ground level. So we get to see all of this and try to put this together to make it work. The ethical responsibilities, according to the Social Work Disposition 11, social workers have ethical responsibilities to advance the profession through effective practices and advocacy. And social workers should advocate for policies that support effective intervention programs and address systemic issues contributing to juvenile delinquency. In conclusion, community-based intervention programs are effective in reducing recidivism rates among juvenile offenders by addressing the root cause of delinquent behaviors through cultural sensitive and diverse approaches. Future directions, further research is needed to explore the long-term impact of these programs and identify the most effective components. Thank you.